For those of you that never sat through a workshop with me, I wanted to give you a quick video blurb of just what our anatomy of a Pilates routine workshop would be like and the information that we'll be covering. For this, I'm going to use one of my students that's from the West Coast that's actually just been coming in. Now, he's been doing Pilates for a few years, and he has a lot of the great techniques down, but there's little tweaks and turns that I want to try to work with him. So go ahead and start with doing some foot series. Just go through your foot series, your normal pace. We won't go the normal duration, but we're going to go through. I just want you to see some of the techniques of what he's got going on, and then how we would kind of step in and observe and put some different turns and twists into things, just to make sure that we're getting what we're looking for out of this. And go ahead and go down into parallel. So go ahead and toes parallel, push on out, and down. Beautiful. Just nice and controlled. Now this is also good because Justin's is a little bit over our average height of a client. So this will also show you how we can kind of change things up for each individual client. A lot of times with me being a bigger guy, I noticed a lot of times when I was doing things on the equipment, it just didn't fit me quite right. So now this is a great chance for us to kind of observe how we can modify things. And then come on down. Go to your heels for me. And push on out. And come on down. Good. Nice and controlled. And he's doing a really good job with that. And good. So come on down. So a couple things that I saw. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lift his head up. I'm going to put his neck into a neutral position. Now a lot of times what happens is the neck actually mirrors the lower back. So if we actually have our head that's in a hyperextension, we'll try to arch our back a little bit too much. So we try to work with trying to place the whole body as a whole in a neutral position. And for this, I'm actually going to put a pillow under his head even on top of that. Now what that does is that lifts his chin slightly higher, or his forehead slightly higher than his chin. And that will allow us to kind of keep him in a neutral position with his head. The second thing is we start with Pilates first. Now what I noticed with Justin is go ahead and push on out. A couple little things. The first thing I noticed was when he comes down too far. He tends to go deep into his knees. What that does though is that tilts his pelvis. And we're trying to do this so that there's no tilt in the pelvis. So go ahead and push on out. Come on down, slow. Now drop your butt just a little bit. There you go. That's the neutral pelvis, and that's all the further he needs to go down. And then push on out. What that does is that allows us to work with the femur into the acetabulum, or the socket of the hip. Before, when he was coming down, he was going deeper, but he was allowing his body to contort to take some of the pressure off his legs. And that's what we're doing the foot series for, is to try to create a nice motion through the legs into the hips. The other thing I would do is I would lift his feet up, and you can come down, bring the knees over the toes so you don't have to go hyper point. Drop your heels just a little bit. There you go. And push out. Now lengthen all the way out. And then come back down. And he's going to maintain this. This stability through the ankle will make a big difference of the pressure going through his hips and then into his lower back. Now our goal is that nothing in his lower back is moving. That's building the core control. All right, we're not going to do an overfiring of the squeezing of the glutes or anything like that, because we want to make sure that we have that stability. And let's go ahead and push out. Last one. Go ahead and push all the way out. Drop your heels for me. Sink them down. Now open up the feet a little bit. And then push out through the toes to lengthen up. Now he's in a nice parallel position. Now I noticed that he was sickling his ankles a little bit, and he didn't have a lot of control through his feet. So he's going to bend his knees, coming down straight to the ceiling with the knees to keep them in line with his hips, and then push back out through the toes. And you can really see how this ankle wants to turn. All right, so I'm going to have him press on my finger a little bit with the toes, lift the foot up a little bit. Bend the knees, come on down. So he's going to think of really keeping that foot in line and push. That's better. Now these are all micro movements, but they're going to make a big difference on his legs of where the pressure is going. It's kind of like the weakest link. is what we're looking for. And we're going to concentrate on these things. And push. Understanding the biomechanics of the pressure going through his ankle, through his knees, into his hips is very important, because that's the connection into the torso that we're looking for. All right? If I can get that differentiation with the legs, then I know that I'm strengthening my back so that when I move my legs, it's not affecting my back. And he's got good control through here. He's doing a good job stopping it a little bit shorter and lengthening out. And it's really nice. And push on out and come on down. Good. Put your feet up here on my chest. Just nice and easy. Good. And relax. Now, because he's not used to using his back for stability in that way, he will be a little stiff. So we do a little traction, a little stretching, which really makes it nice to be able to work with them and get them all up in the stretch. That's my mic. And then just get them a little bit of a stretch in the back. Good. And bend the knees. Good. Roll that spine up. Good. And then allow the back to roll back down. And good. That's a little bit of how we would break down foot series.